I hated this record. I'm sorry, guys. I tried. I really did. But I hate this thing. I hated it, hated it, hated it. At least as an album. There are individual songs on here that, while I may not choose to listen to, I can at the very least support and get behind. But this thing as a whole is pretty bad. There's only one standout track on here, and that's the title song, for pretty obvious reasons. But even with that, I think they could have done way better without having to go into rock or metal. And I know this album has been called a sellout, and I know Mike Shinoda says, no, we don't do that. It's kind of hard to not see this as a sellout move. I mean, how do you go from a good, strong, solid, hard alternative rock album to what sounds like Chainsmokers radio pop? That would give anybody serious audio whiplash. Say whatever you want about 1,000 Suns, but at least Mike warned us about it. He told us that this was not going to be like any of the other albums they did. With One More Light, we didn't get jack. I know there are some people, including Chester, who said if they were doing this for the money, they would have just gone back to their old sound. That argument to me never made any sense, because there is way more money and exposure in pop music than there is in heavy metal. Plus, some of these songs feel like they're taking pot shots at old school fans like me, who wanted a return to that old sound. I mean, let's look at Good Goodbye. So say goodbye and hit the road, pack it up and disappear. You better have some place to go, cause you can't come back around here. Goodbye. Who are they talking about here? Let's keep going. You're all looking highly illiterate, blindly forgetting if I'm in the mix. You won't find an equivalent. I've been killing it for longer than you've been alive, you idiot. What's that about? I mean, and here's Sorry for Now. So I'll be sorry for now that I couldn't be around. Sometimes things refuse to go the way we planned. Oh, I'll be sorry for now that I couldn't be around. There will be a day that you will understand. Understand what? Why you abandoned your old school fan base? As far as I know, Mike or any other band members have not answered to this. And I hope I'm wrong about this. I really do. It's not hard to see how we came up with this idea that this album was a sellout move. If just one of the band members said, whoa, hold on, I can see how you guys came to that conclusion, but that is not what these songs are about. You guys still matter to us. I'm sorry if you didn't like the album, and we'll try better next time. So much this would have been avoided if they just did that. I remember after when Heavy was released, Mike said, don't worry, there'll be plenty of guitar work on the album. The album comes out and there's some, but not much. And most of the drums are machine or sample based. It's all electronica, or at least a vast majority of it is. This album is such a departure from what they are that even Paul Landers of Rammstein said they got way too far away from their core sound.
I'm not sure is it nice to say, but with Linkin Park, sometimes they change the sound too much in my eyes. They're trying out also new things, and that's cool, but I wouldn't go so far from my core.
And ooh, the stuff that Chester said did not help. And let me also state for the record that I have never sent one angry tweet to these guys when they released this album. Matter of fact, this is my first time talking about the album on camera. And also, thank you to Corey Taylor for trying to, calm him down here. But all that stuff he said just did not help. It was pretty bad. I mean, stab yourself in the neck? Come on, dude. And to an extent, I can understand his frustration. He wants to talk about something new, but everybody wants to talk about something that's old. I get that. But there's two things that Chester is failing to see. The first is that great records never die. Second, and this is my biggest criticism for Linkin Park as a band, they never gave their fans a chance to get bored with their old sound and style. I mean, let's take a look at some examples here. Metallica was 4 albums into their discography, and then they decided to try to mix things up a little bit with the Black Album. Godsmack was 6 albums into their discography until they decided to try something different with When Legends Rise. And even for that album, they said this was going to be a departure from their old sound. But with Linkin Park, 2. That's it, too. We never had a chance to have our fill with this stuff. And then to top it off, they kept changing their sound and style so many times with every single album. Normally, there is a slow evolution whenever a band changes their sound and style. But Linkin Park, they just dropped it on us. But all that outrage aside, there's one thing that really bothered me, that really got to my heart. And that was when Mike said that they were never really fans of nu metal. Right through the heart. Nobody makes albums that good and claims that they're not fans of music that sounds similar. It felt like we were just being thrown under the bus. That's what hurt me the most. This band that I've dedicated so much of my time, energy, and money into just to be thrown out. And like I said, I hope that's not the case. But it's kind of hard to not see that. And now with Chester, their MVP, their most valuable player, gone, part of me even wonders if this box set would have still come out if Chester was still alive. Because to give you an idea of how much of a disconnect there was between Linkin Park and their fans, when Mike Shinoda did an unboxing video of this beast, he actually said that it was their families, their friends, and their record label that was pushing for it.
Without the management and label team and our friends and parents and stuff, like this thing would have never even thought to do it.
And what was Mike's response?
We were like, oh, really? You think people will like that?
I rest my case. And then the worst happened. Chester took his own life. And it was like all the bickering, the arguing, the backlash, and the back and forth. It felt like that all came to an end when this happened. It's like the music world stopped turning. Everybody, including myself, was just so taken aback by it. I couldn't believe that it actually happened. Now, with that being said, do I hold those angry fans responsible? Do I think they contributed? Yes and no. It's easy to see that. However, Chester has been in this business for a long time, and I'm sure he knows exactly how to handle something like this. Everybody was doing their mourning. Some still are. Some are still devastated over this. And then Linkin Park does that fantastic tribute concert to Chester. And my favorite moment in that entire concert was when they did Numb. Why? Because they didn't have a singer. There was no one on the microphone. That was strictly an audience performance. That was a chance for the audience to sing for Chester. And just hearing all those people sing those words. And not to mention, some of the guests they got were really good. Some I can even picture singing for Linkin Park. And with all that being said, I still have the same feelings I do about One More Light. I still think it's a bad album. I still stand by that. I think it was a mistake to release it, or at the very least, releasing it immediately after the hunting party. And I can already hear people typing up their comments in the comments section, trying to defend this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and get to all those right now.
Well, they're not angsty teenagers anymore.
Guys, as someone who has depression, is taking medicine for it, and has even had suicidal tendencies, I can tell you that angst is something that never goes away. It just evolves with you.
Well, you're not entitled to anything.
You're absolutely right. I'm not entitled to anything, and neither is the band. This entitlement argument goes both ways here. I'm not entitled for them to go back to their old sound, just like how they are not entitled to have me buy everything they release. Be it an album, merchandise, a concert ticket, nothing. I don't have to buy any of this. So this entitlement argument goes both ways here.
If you want their old sound, just go back to their first two albums.
Guys, I want new Linkin Park, but I want it on the same caliber as those first two albums. To give one example, let's look at the original Star Wars trilogy. Everybody loves episodes 4 through 6. And when Disney got the rights to it, they were looking forward to the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy comes out, and it's not good. However, people still want more Star Wars, but they just want it on the same caliber as those original 3 movies. And for the record, say whatever you want about the prequels, but at least they were planned out. Dialogue aside, there was a story.
Man and art should be able to do whatever they want.
They can. They can do whatever they want. No one stopped them from releasing 1,000 Suns. No one stopped them from releasing One More Light. But this is still the entertainment business. If what you're releasing is not selling well, then guess what? It's going to flop and you're not going to make money. And if you want this to be your full-time job, then you have to treat it like a business. Yes, the music is art, but if your art doesn't sell, you're kind of SOL. And this is why I'm also a big supporter of side bands, so that you have your main band, that's your moneymaker, and then you have your side band where you can show off your artistic expression, your musicianship, and anything else you want to show people. They could have released this under a different name, And I guarantee you they wouldn't have as big of a backlash.
You know, it's fans like you is the reason why Chester killed himself.
I'm not kidding. Someone actually said that to me. It was on Linkin Park's Facebook page. I saw this ad for the Hybrid Theory 20th anniversary box set, and all I did was leave one message. I said, all we wanted was just a return to this style. And while I had a huge number of people who liked and loved my comments, I got a slew of hate mail. And amongst that hate mail was somebody who said that fans like me was the reason why Chester took his own life. Yeah. That's how toxic things got. Now, there's even some people who said
the worst thing you can tell an artist is to work backwards.
No, the worst thing you can do is to tell an artist to release something that sucks. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Being a glorified yes man for the band, liking everything the band does, that doesn't help them either. It just shows that you're sheep and that you have no standards. You can get talked into buying or agreeing to anything. The worst thing an artist can do is release something that sucks. As much as people love a band like Metallica or Megadeth, these two albums stained their discography. The damage done by these albums has been completed. And even if there are people who suddenly come around, it's too late. The damage has been done. And there are people who still give them a hard time about it. That's what happens when you release something that's bad. And as much as I like this box set, I really hope this isn't just some nostalgia grab. Part of me wonders if this was just a way to get fans like me back into their good graces. Because while I do want Linkin Park to make new music, I want it on that same caliber as those original two albums. So, with all of that said, why am I back? Why did I return? Well, despite any possible issues I have with this and their intentions, I will say that it's a start. It shows that they are no longer ashamed or embarrassed by fans like me. Fans who loved that new metal style. Fans who just wanted a return to that old style. It shows that they are embracing their roots. That's when I decided to come back to the LP Underground. Because if they're willing to take a chance on having a fan like me back, then I'm willing to take a chance on being a fan of theirs again. Now, I stand behind everything I said throughout this video and the other one. I still think One More Light is a bad album. I think it was a mistake to release it right after the Hunting Party. I think it was bad that Linkin Park decided to abandon their old school sound and style before fans got a chance to get bored with it. But I am willing to give them another chance. If they're willing to give fans like me another chance, the least I can do is return the favor. As far as how things are running now in this fan club, I gotta say, the bundles are actually a good idea. You have your main bundle for the exclusive merchandise, and then you can pick and choose if there's anything else you want. It can lead to spending more money, however, it's optional. The website design, pretty cool setup. You know, it's part of me does miss the forums, part of me does miss the trading post. Because, they actually got rid of that, I think like maybe around year 8, because there were people who were complaining that they were ripped off. So they did the only thing they could and just canceled the trading post. I have no idea, when they're going to be holding a show again and see if the meet and greet experience is any different. Maybe one day I'll get a chance to try out an LPU summit, but I am hopeful for the future. Now, to all of Chester's friends, colleagues, and family, I only knew the guy as a rock star. I only knew him as a rock star, an artist, and a humanitarian. But to you guys, he was something so much more. He was a dad, a husband, and a friend. I can't even begin to pretend how it feels to lose someone like that. Just know that, while it may not seem like much, you guys do have my sympathy. And I am so sorry for everything you guys had to put up with. And to all of Chester's fans, if you really want to #make Chester proud and you're suffering from some sort of mental illness, for the love of God, seek real medical help. I know I shouldn't speak on behalf of Chester's friends, family, and colleagues, but I think they would at least agree with me that if you're not right in the head, if you are suffering from depression or maybe schizophrenia or maybe some other mental illness, please, for the love of God, for the love of Chester, for the love of his dear friend Chris Cornell, please seek real medical help, like what I did. Because when Chester died, there were several other fans who also took their lives. Okay, this is not healthy. I'm pretty sure that would not make Chester proud. And if you have any questions for me, be it about my history with depression when I sought help, or maybe something about these videos that I made, or even just my history with the LP Underground, leave them in the comments, and if I have a big enough response, I will do a Q&A video. But until then, I am hopeful for Linkin Park's future. And like I said, I still hold the beliefs that I do about One More Light. I still think it's a very bad album, but I don't hate the band for releasing it. So I am hopeful for Linkin Park's future. I'm looking forward to when we can hear new music. I am looking forward to the day when we can start getting an idea of who they would have as a singer. Matter of fact, I actually have my own ideas, and I plan on doing a top 10 video about that soon. But I just think the future is going to be okay. I will provide numbers to suicide hotlines. I'll do whatever I can. But please seek real medical help. Just like how I did. This is the Concert Cruiser signing out.